my name is Tamara Chambers, and this is Tamara Just Saw. And last night, I went and saw Twisted Pair. There's only one showing of this in Chicago at one theater for one night. There's like one showing in every big city across the states. So this is less of a, I think a lot of people are gonna watch this, so I should do an episode of Tamara Just Saw on it, and more of a, I need to talk about this film with someone. I need to discuss Neil Breen with someone. I'm a little afraid now that I've said that this is gonna get like 6 views. I was just filming with a group of wonderful people a few weeks back and met Corey Goodwin, who introduced me to Neil Breen. And we watched Fateful Findings driving back from Springfield to Chicago, and I've been hooked ever since. Neil Breen is known as kind of the next Tommy Wiseau, but more so because Tommy made The Room. Neil Breen has made 5 films now. I think there's 5 of them, Twisted Pair being his most recent one. It's just like that perfect mix of terrible, hilarious that you want in a bad film. I also think it's really endearing. He's like this normal guy. He's used to be a real estate agent, now he's an architect in Las Vegas, and interviews with him, he seems just like a really normal dude, and he just loves film so much. If people make fun of his films, it's more like, oh, I'm just glad people are watching it, versus like he doesn't seem to be super upset by it, and that just makes you love someone so much, or it does for me at least. I'm so fascinated by Neil Breen. So Neil, if you see this, 1, I would love to interview you so bad. 2, I love your movies. I said this in the Tamara's Never Seen episode this week with Birdemic. With smaller budget things, I feel really shitting on it, especially if I found enjoyment out of it and I had a good time watching it. So with this, I had the best time. I think seeing Twisted Pair in the theater was the best movie-going experience I've ever had. Every time something funny would happen, the crowd went just ballistic. It was so energetic. People were screaming. I could barely hear what was going on the screen, to be quite honest, because everyone was enjoying themselves so much and just yelling and responding to everything. I showed up to the theater thinking like, oh, you know, maybe 100 people will be there. There was a line around the block of the music box, and everyone walking up to the line was like, is this for Twisted Pair? Everyone thought that they were the only ones who knew who Neil Breen was. The guy behind me watches Nostalgia Critic. That's always super fun. I had the best time last night. So, to circle back around, Neil, if you see this, I love your stuff, and I do think that they are... they bring me a lot of enjoyment. Whether that's because they're good or not is something to, you know, debate, but I love these movies. I will also say I've only seen Fateful Findings and then Twisted Pair. Fateful Findings seemed to be pretty unintentionally bad. It felt like this was just a wonderful mix of a lot of different aspects that turned into this flaming pile of awkward badness that was just super enjoyable to watch. This felt a little more intentional. There were a few things that I was like, well, I think that you maybe did that on purpose to make it, to play into who you now are as this like cult movie maker. Okay, for instance, there's one scene where there's this homeless guy sitting on the ground and there's rats around him, but they're literally these, there's 2 of them, and in between shots, they'll move them to make it look like they've been like moving around, but their tails, it's like this, and like it's literally this rat that I have as a Halloween decoration that I got at the dollar store. So things like that. There's some weird cuts and some weird lingering shots that are, it seems a little intentional now, versus, I could be wrong on this, but versus like Fateful Findings seems to just be this organic mess of amazingly bad film. This felt like, oh, that did so well, let's play into it a little bit. So I was just about to explain kind of a brief synopsis of the movie, but guess what? I can't. Neil Breen wrote, directed, catered, cast, starred in, did everything for this film, and he does that in all of his, one of my favorite things is at the end of Fateful Findings and this movie, in the credits, it'll be like casting in co and catering in business and all of these different companies that have N's and B's in them. And then at the very end of the credits, it says anything with the N or B in it is a fictional company and was done by Neil Breen. I think that's so funny. Neil Breen plays twins, Kale and another character. And the only difference is one of them has a really fake beard, Kale. Or Kane? Kane and Kale? I don't know. Listen, you guys, the names aren't important. There's twins, and then somebody takes them and turns them into powerful humanoid beings, you know, for sure. And then they get separated. And one of the first lines in the movie is, "We were twins, we were inseparable, and then it all changed." What? You guys being inseparable? Or like, you guys being twins? What changed? And then there's a line that gets repeated throughout the entire thing, and it's, "I miss what I never knew." And it's like, but you guys were taken away after you were inseparable. Like, it seemed like you were maybe 7 or so when you were taken away. So you did know your brother. What are you saying that you miss? Being an adult twin? What do you miss? There's a CGI eagle hug, and everyone was just yelling, "Kiss the bird! Kiss the bird!" And it looks like he almost was gonna kiss the bird. So much green screen usage. I should say that the CGI bird it was a green screen bird. It wasn't a CGI bird, Tamara. Come on, get your shit together. So then after that short bit of story, it gets really hazy on what is happening. The non-bearded twin goes on a mission and completes the mission, and you don't really know what the mission is. And then he's shown like de-gunning. He's taking like all these guns off of his body, and he brought like 7 guns to this mission, and he didn't shoot once during the mission. Why do you have all these guns? Then he runs into this woman, and he makes her drop her papers, and he's like, "Sorry, let me make it up to you. I'm gonna get you a drink. Let me buy you a drink. Meet me back here at 8. Meet me back here at 8. And she's like, "No, God, no." And then he follows her home, breaks into her house, and then she smashes a giant painting over his head, but there's no glass there, it's just cardboard. And then they add in a bunch of glass breaking shard noises throughout the entire scene, and they're just like wrestling on the couch and there's shard noises happening. And then they start cuddling. It was very loud, so I don't really know the vocal interchange that they had there, but it made no goddamn sense. Then after that, he meets up with his brother for like the first time in years, and then they're just like, "All right, well, see you later," and then they go separate ways. You have no idea what's happening. The brother's kind of like this vigilante, like Robin Hood type, I think. He's like doing good, but doing it like the wrong way, and he's got like this weird torture room. That's really all that I got from the I have no idea what happened in this movie, you guys. Zero idea. It's kind of like if you've ever been to a live screening of The Room where they throw the spoons and all that. Everyone's so loud that like if you were to bring someone who had never seen The Room, they really wouldn't understand what was happening at all because it's so loud. So that's really what happened with this. So I can't really speak to the story, but I can. It's not good. I wrote 2 moons in this one shot. There's a big one and then like a weird crop of another moon for some reason. And it's made to look like it's like a camera effect maybe, or like something didn't render correctly, but that has to be intentional. Neil, please tell me that it's intentional. It's what I wrote in my notes. There's 3 cat statues that keep moving. It's unclear why they keep moving. I don't think the woman that he dates ever had a name in the whole film. I don't think her name was said once. I think my favorite thing about the movie is the jumps. He's got this superpower. He can jump from like to the very top of a building and his hair is like flapping in the wind. Oh, it's quite the movie experience, you guys. I would not recommend seeing this alone. I would recommend seeing this with friends and possibly drinking while doing it. I think that could only increase the amount of enjoyment that you get from it, probably. I want to hear what everyone thinks of Neil Breen. If you've heard of him. If you haven't heard of him, go watch Fateful Findings. It's so great. Go watch the trailer to Twisted Pair on YouTube. It's out of this world. It's the longest trailer. And oh man, oh, it's a mess. And I loved it. Thank you, Neil Breen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. A movie prop, this is not.